It was a sad Sunday in Lagos when international businessman late Alhaji Lukman Alade, aka TOto Abuga's death was announced. This was because not many see it coming. He was not just a businessman, he was a socialite by excellence. He was popular on Lagos social scene and London social scene. Most of his friends are scattered all around the world. He is a man of great repute. Many refer to him as Mr. No Cheating because to him you must come with clean hands. When he does business with you, he makes sure he is straightforward and comes to the table with clean hand. Many of his friends cried when the news of his death was announced. Not only does his pretty wife, Dickiness Biola Alade, misses him, all his 4 children who spent his last moments with him before he left London missed him too. In fact, one of his daughters, who spoke with us excessively, revealed that they all slept on the same bed, like he had a premonition of his death. Even his wife, Dickiness Biola, told him not to go. He was with him till 11th hour when he took his last flight. How has it been like 15 years after for his pretty wife, who has stayed glued to all his children? How has she been able to cope without her husband? Whoever knows TOto Abuga knows who Biola Abuga is. The tall, elegant, beautiful woman of substance who is not just religious, beautiful, business-oriented, but a lover of Christ. She did not only took solace in the fact that her husband lived a good life, it was shocking for her. Let's sit back and watch this interesting interview of how she received the death and what has happened to her in the last 15 years. Ma, it's not easy. Many would probably have thought that you would have remarried. Many thought that you would have moved on. Fine, you moved on, but in Christ. You took your children like your friend. And the evidence is so obvious, seeing how well they're all doing. Some of them are just going to be through with their studies, and some are already married, and you are now a grandmother. Ma, how has it been like 15 years after?
Thank you so much, my sake, Biola. I did not pray for such to happen, even to my enemy, to lose a loved one, especially during the time you've just started. You're just starting to train children, We made these children and we're starting to put them to limelight of life. It has not been easy, but to God be the glory. I thank God for everything because, like I used to say, what God cannot do does not exist. My existence is based on God. To God be all the glory. It has not been easy at all, but without God, all this cannot be achieved. Lukman was a very good and nice person. He was a bridge to all his friends because most of his friends are no more together now. Like when he got to London, when he's in Nigeria, Lukman is a very good, I just don't know what to say. Everybody knows him. Everybody knows Lukman was a wonderful person. Basically, I don't like using words for him, and that's what I meant to use. But I like to still think I'm feeling his presence. Even though it's 15 years, a lot of people will come to me, Biola, you have to move on now. I thank God I moved on with Christ. You understand? Because it is not easy. My youngest then was just 2 years old. He wasn't even up to 2 years because the boy was supposed to be 2 years on the 9th of June, and my husband died 8th of June. To God be the glory, the boy is now 17-year-old. I thank God.
Ma, what was his last moment like before he left London? What was it like?
Oh, Lukman's last moment was amazing. You know, his last moment, I was just thinking, this man has really changed. He was so calm. And a night before, when he was telling me, oh, Biola, I have to go back tomorrow, I said, you know, our son, Jai Mazuk, will be 2 on Monday, which was 9th of June. I told him, look, man, don't go now. Let both take this boy out. He will be 2 on Monday. He said, no, 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 no. I have something doing in Nigeria. I have a decking to construct on Tuesday. And if I'm not on ground on Monday to get all the materials ready, you know, it's not going to be that easy. I said, and I mentioned something as if it's a premonitive. I said, ẹ̀mí ṣẹ́gun jẹ̀mí èèyàn lọ kí ló fẹ́ lọ ṣe ọmọ ẹ̀ máa pé 2 lọ́la àìníjọ Monday ó ní mo dé nìyẹn mo ní okay, and I kept my cool. And before we all got to go to bed that night, he said, let everybody sleep together. I was saying, why? All of us slept on one bed. And basically, when he's traveling like that, I don't normally take him to the airport. He said, Biola, can you take me to the airport? I said, I have to go to church. Oh. He said, because it was then they started using Terminal 5 for British Airways, because British Airways was in Gatwick before. So he said, so we can see Gatwick, and so we can see Terminal 5. I said, okay, let's go to the airport. I took him to the airport with my second daughter. We went. So when he was about to leave to scan his boarding pass, I don't know, he just came back. He came back to hug me. I said, oh, Uniyeye. He waved. I didn't know that was going to be the last wave he would give me. And when they landed, he called me. Oh, Biola, we landed. I said, thank God. He said, I'll call you when I get home. I said, okay. So I was expecting his call to call me back. I sat down. I was looking at the time. This is to 9. He hasn't called because they landed around 7. To 9, he hasn't called. I would pick my phone to call him. I would say, because I know he would say, Biola, to monitor me here. So I was thinking of what to say because he would start shouting that, I was just practicing different lies to tell him that was the reason I was calling him. And the lies I had in mind to say, because normally I cook for him when he's going to Nigeria. All the stews that we eat before I come back, I will make it, I will freeze it. I still do that now. I take my stew to London, I bring to Nigeria, I do that. So I was thinking I would say, I want to remind you to take out the stews from your bag. So when I called, nobody picked the phone. I said, let me leave the phone. Maybe he's doing his own thing. After 10 minutes, I called back. The phone rang, and the driver picked it. I said, where is Lukman? Give the phone to Lukman. He said, no. Hey, what I didn't even know what I was saying. Anyway, let's cut the long story short. After a while, I got to know Lukman passed. That was the beginning of my, I would say of my life, because the experience I have 15 years ago is more than my age. It's more than what I could think about, I could think of. But his late dad, Alhaji Oladuni Olatunji, made it easier for me. He told me, Biola, Yamazid, fọkàn ẹ balẹ̀, kò sí nǹkan tó máa ṣe ẹ́. And I thank God. The man passed away 2 years ago. May his soul rest in peace as well. So the journey was rough, but nothing is crooked if you have God. I always say to God be the glory. What God cannot do does not exist. So God is in existence in my life and not of my children. So I give all glory to God. God has been doing it.
It's surely an emotional moment for you. You were almost moved to tears when you said the driver said he was shot. And I look at it, that 15 years, one would have expected you to remarry. One would have expected you to, after that, you gave your life to Christ. And one would have expected you to move on. What is that qualities that late TOto Abuga has that has made you stick to his fond memories this long?
What's made me stick to him is that Shebi Nigeria no la wa yoko no dambe. I have two lovely boys, two lovely girls. What am I looking for? But at the same time, when God says yes, you cannot say no. When God says, oh, I am going to give you someone to replace your husband, I know when I see a replica of my husband, I'll go for him. Because it's 15 years already. But at the same time, I thank God all my children are now adults. Even if I say, oh, I want to get married today, I know nobody will make my children suffer because I know having children, getting married with children, getting married to any other person. And I don't think I've seen someone like Lukman. Lukman was an independent person. He's not a man that lives off women. So it's not that I just find it difficult because I'm even too busy with my business and my children to think of getting married to
What do
anyone.
you call him when he was alive?
Lukman.
Wow.
I called him Lukman.
What are the many qualities that you saw in him back then?
A lot. Number one is a very faithful person. He doesn't lie. Very straightforward. If you deal with him, if you're dealing with him, just go and sleep. If you have your money with him, go and sleep. He's not a manipulator. Lukman is a very straightforward person. If you see him fighting, if you ask for what's the cause of the fight, it's going to be maybe someone who's trying to cheat someone else. And most times, it's only Jaluman Diti. Because if you know Lukman very well, you cannot suffer. Nobody can cheat you. And that is what made both of us stick together. Because he knows me, it is whatever that belongs to me that I'll take. And my children knows the law in my house. No lies, no stealing. We don't do that. And that's the legacy my husband left. And I have to carry it on for the children as well. So getting married is not that hard. If I want to get married today, I'll get married today. But I'm still thinking about it. Biola, don't worry. You're going to be one of the chief bridesmaids.
Your husband has a nickname that is peculiar to him alone, Mr. No Cheating.
Exactly.
Do you know how he got that name?
I think I've just explained. Mr. No Cheating. Because any fight, you see Lukman fighting, maybe someone is trying to cheat someone else. So he's Mr. No Cheating. He will not cheat you and he will not allow you. He will not cheat you and he will not allow you to cheat him. He will never do that. Lukman, straightforward man, to the core. A lot of people have died. But, I do this remembrance for him every year. I remember when I did it in the first year, the 5th, the 10th, and the 15th elaborately. But the rest, I do it within. Alpha Nadwat, Alaji Rahman knows, is the one I always call. At times when I'm in London, I say, Alaji, are you in London? Oh, And even they all call me when it's time. Like this year, Alaji Rahman called. Hello, Mazid, I'm in Mecca. Oh. I know you always remember your husband. He prayed for him. He prayed for me, for my family, for everybody. So, I don't think... Lukman, Mr. No Cheating. And the legacy is what I want for the kids.
Sleeping on the same bed with him before he left London. What came to your mind when he said that? Because it was always you and him sleeping on the same bed. Mm-hmm. And he said, let all the children sleep on the same bed with us. 6 of you.
Basically, I didn't have anything in mind. What I thought was that because he was leaving in the morning, he was trying to romance me not to be annoyed because I told him not to go. I told him, look, man, don't go. So I was thinking he was just trying to beg it off me that maybe if he cuddled all of us. So I didn't even have second thoughts of him that that was going to be the last time of sleeping with, of all the family sleeping together. I did not have the thoughts at all. At all, I did not
You
have
will
the
surely
thoughts.
have people you want to appreciate. And I know you have a very long list. So I'm not going to tell you to mention names. Because when you add your father's in-laws remembrance a few years ago, about 3-4 years ago, it was
Funeral
a
party.
great one. Over 5,000 people in a hall.
Yeah.
You hardly see an in-law throwing such party for a father. And you said, I want to do it the way my husband would have done it if he was alive. And we know that we saw the caliber of people who were there. We want you to appreciate all your husband's friends, sisters, who are not related to him by blood, but they stood their ground. I've seen people who said, oh, Biola, I know you're going to be there on Friday. I'll say, hey, Biola, take me. A lot of people were calling to book on Biola. I'm like, wow. Auntie Biola. And then somebody said, Biola. I remember somebody said, Auntie Biola Obinu. And I look at it, I'm like, wow. Do you have I know you have long list, but I don't want to mention it. I just want you to look straight into the camera and thank God for your life, for the life of your late husband and that of your children, for how far you've come in life. And saying thank you to the large guests who are clamoring to come and honor you and your husband. Because to some of them, he is not late.
Abiola, you have said it. I have long lists. Because that shows the kind of man Lukman was. I have long lists. Where do I start from? Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹni tí mi ò bá mention kọ́ jọ̀ọ́ kó má bínú. Nǹkan tó bá wá sí mi lórí níbo ni mo ti fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀. Kì í ṣe kọ́kọ́ lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó kú, mo kọ́kọ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá tó kú tó bí náà. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ọkọ mi lóbìnrin lọ́kùnrin. I will start lórí ọkùnrin from number 1, Alhaji Wasiu Ayinde. There is never a time torí mi tó ní recognize it. Màá bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí wọ́n ti pọ̀ jù. Yusuf Aileru. Ìyẹn àwọn ọkùnrin wọ́n ti pọ̀ jù tó bá ṣe wá sí mi lórí màá máa dárúkọ. Bọ́ àwọn obìnrin níbo ni mo fẹ́ fi sísítà mi sí? Alhaja Chief Ọ̀túnba Mrs. Afolashade Adesoye. Kudos to you, my darling sister. You're wonderful. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin tó kù náà ẹ wonderful o. Ṣé mọ̀ ó máa ń ní pé bó ṣe máa ń kọ́ra wọn ní o ṣé mọ̀. My darling sister, you're wonderful. You are 1 in a million. Thank you so, so much. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọ̀rẹ́ Lukman lóbìnrin, mélòó ni mo fẹ́ dárúkọ tán? Mama Salah.
Wow, the same Mama Salah.
The same Mama Salah. Ẹ̀yin wọn náà ẹ ṣe Alájà Kúdí Dámọ̀lé.
Wow.
Mélòó ni mo fẹ́ dárúkọ tán ti pọ̀ jù ẹjọ́ ẹni tí ń bá dárúkọ ẹ̀ kó má bínú. Ọ̀rẹ́ tèmi láàyè. Okay. Kafila Oriyomi, wọ́n ti pọ̀ jù tó jẹ́ èèyàn. I know everybody through Lukman and the way tó fi embrace me, and after Lukman's demise everybody stood for me. Wọ́n dúró, wọ́n ṣojú, wọ́n ṣẹ̀yìn. Ẹni tó ṣojú ò dàbí ẹni tó ṣẹ̀yìn, wọ́n ti pọ̀ jù. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹni tí mi bá dárúkọ again kó má bínú. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń wá sí mi lórí ni. Àwọn ọkùnrin mo ti dárúkọ Alhaji Wasiu Ayinde. Uncle Demola Gborigi. Great man, ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́. Ìdòwú Ṣóẹ̀gẹ́ and Bọ̀dá Múrí àwọn náà ti ẹ̀ ṣe. He died about 3 weeks ago. Gbogbo wọn ṣe l'Amẹ́ríkà. Mr. Larry Aláùsá, Yusuf Aileru, everybody ti pọ̀ jù. Bọ̀dá Wọlé Kerú, Alhaji Muniu Lasisi láti kú tó gbẹ̀yìn ti kú tọ́nu. Gbogbo yín náà dúró. I thank everybody. Mi mọ bí tí mo mélòó ni mo fẹ́ mention. Wálé Bello, ta ni mélòó ni mo fẹ́ sọ nù yín. Yusuf Asabari, brother mi dáadáa gbogbo yín ẹ ṣé. Pẹ́pẹ́ irú ti pọ̀ jù. Mélòó ni mo fẹ́ dárúkọ. Because Uncle Yusuf, ìgbà míì táwọn boys ṣe mọ́ ọkùnrin ò lè má ṣèjọ ọkùnrin. I will call Uncle Yusuf. Uncle Yusuf, àwọn Abuga ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ o. Biola Abuga, mo wà nílé. He will come straight away to my place to calm them down. Mélòó ni mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́? Ṣé mo ti dárúkọ Alhaji Wasiu Ayinde lẹ́ẹ̀kan? Ìgbà tó bá ti rí mi báyìí, wọ́n máa hail mi, wọ́n máa tèmi náà bá dẹ̀ ti ń gbọ́rin yẹn báyìí Lukman. Ọlọ́run bá mi fọ̀run kẹ́ ẹ, Ọlọ́run tiẹ̀ ti fọ̀run kẹ́ ẹ, iwájú tó dojúkọ ó ti da ẹyin tó dẹ̀ filẹ̀, mo dúpẹ́ pé kò bàjẹ́, àwọn ọmọ tó kólẹ̀ fún mi, wọn ò yọ ọmọ burúkú, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run, ọrẹ́ ti pọ̀ jù, mélòó ni mo fẹ́ sọ.
Wọ́n lọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ tó pọ̀ gan.
Lukman lọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ l'Amẹ́ríkà, ní Nàìjíríà, ọ̀rẹ́ obìnrin, bó ṣe wà yẹn, obìnrin lọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀, ọkùnrin náà ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀, gbogbo èèyàn lọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀, gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ọkọ mi, gbogbo wọn dẹ̀ ni mò ń bá ṣe. Gbogbo wọn ni mò ń bá ṣe. Even this 15 years remembrance we're going to do, I thank everyone. And I will also come back to Alhaja Ọ̀túnba Afolashade Adunirisika Adesoye. Wọ́n ṣe é. To the extent when I was speaking with Mama Salah yesterday, mo ní ẹ bá mi pè wọ́n kẹ́ni mo ní kẹ́ ẹ dúpẹ́. I thank, it's not that pé anything, ẹ bá mi dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn. Every time, anytime she sees me, àpọ́nlé yìí ti pọ̀ jù, ẹ bá mi dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn. And the weight of it, but nígbà ní ilé pọ̀, wọ́n á ní kí ni mi ò mọ nǹkan t'Abuga ń ṣe ni. Ipe no kí làwọn ṣe tó pọ̀ jù. Ṣàgbéńdómì wà fáwọn ọmọ, ṣàṣe kíní kan fáwọn ọmọ, eléyìí tí mo no, ẹ bá mi dúpẹ́, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ everybody. Everybody ni mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ because ẹlòmíì wá really reach ara. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi náà tó dúró tì mí tó support mi. Bùnmi Ọmọbùwà, thank you so much. I thank my family as well. I thank Ayi Asabari, Alhaja Kafila Oriyomi, everybody mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ mi ìfẹ́ ṣẹ̀yìn kankan.
Mo rí porúkọ yẹn tá bá fi yín lẹ̀ gan 1 hour list yẹn gùn. Mo nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ rántí mà. Your husband's name opens door. Was there one particular incident?
Mo sorry, mo tún wá fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ èèyàn kan. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ big sister mi kan, Mrs. Afolashade Asafa, Senator Biola Abuga. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn náà. Brother ọkọ mi dáadáa ni wọ́n. He's been there for him and for us. Àwọn náà ṣe é. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ everybody. Tí n bá ṣe ń pa àwọn náà báyìí, wọ́n ń dá mi lóhùn ni. Tí n bá ní báyìí, so I thank everybody. Gbogbo èèyàn ni mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀.
I want you to remember one particular incident. Orúkọ kan yín ṣílẹ̀kùn. Ilẹ̀kùn ọlá, ilẹ̀kùn owó, ilẹ̀kùn àìkúbalẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀. Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ rántí incident kan tó yẹ pé ẹ̀dẹ̀ rántí báyìí omi ayọ̀ ó jáde lójú yín. Somebody just looked at you and said, "Is that not TOto Abuga's wife? And you needed something done." And I said, "Oh, because of your husband, I will do this." Can you just remember? I know it's numerous, but can you remember one? And you were like, "My husband is dead," and you still did this for him.
Ó sì pọ̀ jù. Mélòó ni mo fẹ́ rántí? Biola Abuga, ẹni kó wọlé bọ̀, ẹni kó máa wọlé bọ̀, ẹni kó máa wọlé bọ̀. Ó sì pọ̀ jù, ìwà rere lẹ̀ṣọ́ èèyàn. Lukman, not how long, but how well. Wow. Lukman lived a good life. And nǹkan tó kàn máa ń dùn mí ni pé he was a complete gentleman towards the end of his life. Because when I met him, ó burú o, even some people keeps calling me, Biola, wọ́n ló ń fa Abuga, kí ló fẹ́ fi ṣe? So when I see him, ìwà tó máa ń wù pẹ̀lẹ́ mi is totally different. There was a time èmi àti ẹ̀ wà l'Amẹ́ríkà. Èmi ń dáná kitchen, òun ń lọṣọ àwọn ọmọ. Èèyàn kan wá ń pè mí, Biola wọ́n ló ń fa Abuga, kí ni kọ́? Mo wá pè, mo ní Lukman dúró náà. That your Lagos, is there any other Abuga there? Ó ní kí ni mo mean? Mo ní mò ń gbọ́ story nípa Abuga kan ni. Ó wá rẹ́rìn, ó ní kí n má dá wọn lóhùn, kí n má wo tèmi. I didn't know, but me ò wá realize kí ni. And people keeps calling him as well. Àwọn kan pè láàrin Èkó ńgbà kan ní Abuga, wọ́n ní òun fẹ́ lady kan. Ẹ̀wọ̀n náà sanra, wọ́n ti ẹ̀ níbàdàn ló ti wá. Ládùúrú bí gbogbo Èkó ṣe tó yìí, ó rí èèyàn kankan fẹ́. A ní ẹ fi mí lẹ̀ pẹ̀lú nǹkan mi. Èmi ni mo mọ tí mo rí lára ẹ̀. And I thank God pé nǹkan tó rí lára mi náà, Olúwa ò jẹ́ kó bàjẹ́. Ó pẹ̀lú nǹkan tí ò jẹ́ kí nǹkan ẹ bàjẹ́. Òun ni. So, a dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run.
Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ yọ̀gò lójú. Torí pé ẹ máa kí ọkọ yín. Tókù bá ń wẹ̀yìn. Ẹ kí wọn. Ara àwọn ọmọ aláyọ̀ tọ́lọ́run fún yín. They are so humble. I've seen two of the daughters, I've seen one of the sons. And I look at it like, ẹ ti gbajúmọ̀ bá fẹ́ra wọn. Tọkọ wá tètè kú kò kí easy fóbìnrin láti dá tọ́ ọmọ yẹn. Ẹlòmíì àti bá fẹ́ ayé lọ. We are not being judgmental here, but we've seen a lot of people to help me. They sacrifice their adult life just the way you did to raise their kids. Because you were just few years above 40. Wípé bímọ tán àsìkò tó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ máa gbádùn pẹ̀lú ọkọ yín ni. Àwa fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run àti lọ́wọ́ ọkọ yín ẹlẹ́dàá wọn tí kò sùn tó dúró tì yín kẹ́ ẹ kí wọ́n kẹ́ ẹ dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run mà.
Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run. Ọlọ́run ìwọ ló lọ́pẹ́. Ìwọ ló ní everything. Mo dúpẹ́ tójú òtì mi. Ó dàbí orin kí lorúkọ Màláíkà. Ó ṣé Ọlọ́run ò bójú mi jẹ́. Mo dúpẹ́ tọ́lọ́run ò bójú mi jẹ́. Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ tó dálẹ̀ fún mi tí mi ò kó wọn dànù tí wọ́n rẹ̀ dànù. Bí wọ́n ṣe mọ̀ kò ní sí nínú ọmọ kó yọ̀ má sí tòmálà gidi. You know you said 3 of them have spoken. Ìkẹrin wà lókè kò sọ̀rọ̀ ni ó ti jọ bàbá tó bí lọ́mọ. Ó ti jọ bàbá tó bí lọ́mọ ni. Ó ti jọ Lukman tẹ́ bá rí gbogbo nǹkan ẹ máa rò pa Abuga ni. Ẹ máa dìde sáà ni. Bí ẹni lè tutù bá ẹ mú òrìṣà tí mò ń sìn nìyẹn. But very pleasant a boy. Ìwà bàbá ẹ̀ gangan. Ṣé ni Lukman ti ẹ̀bọ̀ rẹ̀ fún yẹn? Ó yẹ kó wá ṣe interview sí. Ó ní no, ó yarí. But mo dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run. He's a wonderful boy. Gbogbo wọn ló wonderful. Olúwa ò dá mi dá bùkátà mi. Torí the way I trained them mo ti ẹ̀ kò yé mi gan mi mọ́ bí tí mo ti rí. I sent them to best schools, everything. Mo wò pé aṣọ ni mi ìnira gold ni mi ìnira. But still náà mo ń ra aṣọ mo ń ra gold. Mo dúpẹ́ pé mo rí wọn tán. Èṣù ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kò dẹ̀ ní yà mí kò ní gbẹ ìkọ̀kan ò ní yọ sọnù bí ọ̀wọ̀ nínú gbogbo wọn. Gbogbo wọn báyìí náà máa túbọ̀ tó gbogbo wa báyìí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ wa máa ṣoríire lójú wa. Ẹni tó bá ní abiyamọ ò ní jèrè ọmọ ẹ̀ bí ẹ má jẹ́ ṣe pé tó ràdúrà là ń ṣe. Gbogbo wa báyìí la máa jèrè gbogbo àwọn ọmọ wa. Gbogbo nǹkan tí bàbá wọn ò dúró ṣe Lukman mò ń kí ẹ because èèyàn ni ẹ́ ó máa ń ṣojú àwọn èèyàn máa ń ṣe èèyàn torí gbà tó rẹ̀ kan kú bọ̀dá bílẹ̀ àríọrí ó ṣojú ó ṣẹ̀yìn. So mo ṣe wò pé ìwọ ọmọkùnrin pẹ̀lú gbogbo nǹkan tó fákìtìyàn ṣe nǹkan ò gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́ even though everything rough but ó dúró bí jagunjagun lọ́rùn ó dúró tì mí because I do some things I don't even know how I do them because mo mọ̀ pé òòsùn ni èmi náà dẹ̀ fàdúrà ṣeré fún ẹ. Mo kí ẹ pé iwájú tó dojú kọ kó túbọ̀ máa dáa ẹ̀yìn ẹ tó ti ń da kò dẹ̀ tún ní bàjẹ́ Ọlọ́run àtúbọ̀ bá mi dẹ́mi àwọn ọmọ ẹ sí ibi tí ò lè dé gbogbo àwọn ọmọ iná máa kọjá abẹ èmi náà báyìí wọn ò ní wá fi fúláwà san oore tí mo ṣe fún wọn tí mo dúró tì wọ́n tí mo tọ́ wọn láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà lẹ́yìn 15 years yìí aláàánú lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin ni kò ràn sẹ́mi náà gbogbo àwọn ọmọ yẹn kọ́ náà kọ́ má sì jẹ kọ́ má sì mu kọ́ má ṣọ̀rẹ́ yàn kọ́ má yàn rẹ burúkú kó túbọ̀ ṣe sán ṣòkòtò abiyamọ lọ́rùn ṣòkòtò abiyamọ ẹ̀ náà kó túbọ̀ bá mi san pẹ̀lú wọn nǹkan kan ilé àtọ̀nà mi kó má dàrú ilé àtọ̀nà everybody wa náà kó má dàrú ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ o wọ́n everybody tó dúró láti ìgbà tí Lukman ti kú wọ́n ti pọ̀ jù because Lukman èèyàn ní láti 15 years tó ti kú mi ò rántí ọjọ́ kan tí mi ò dárúkọ ẹ̀ fún 15 years so ẹ bá mi ṣírò 365 multiplied by 15 ẹni ò tí ẹ mọ̀ pé kú there was a time even up to 10 years mo ń dry clean aṣọ ẹ̀ I was hoping he's gonna come back I will show you his word mo ṣe kó aṣọ ìkan jáde because ìgbà tó kú báyìí ṣé filtex ìdáhùn èèyàn ṣe ń wọ̀ sí ọkọ mi fi ń wọlé ni nǹkan tó jẹ́ kóhun àti sẹ́nitọ̀ gan close ní gbà abúgàbọ̀ ni wọ́n ti ń ra àwọn aṣọ tiẹ̀ yìí ìyàwó mi ló máa ń rà fún mi ìyàwó mi ló ń rà gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣe ń wọ̀ ọkọ mi ti wọ gbogbo ẹ̀ ìgbà tó kú gan after 2 years filtex called me Biola kí ló dé àárí ẹ mọ́ kí ni kò mo ní my husband passed gbogbo wọn ò believe but àdúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run pé nǹkan táwọn èèyàn ṣe ń wọ̀ ní 50 years after tó ń kú yìí ọkọ mi ti wọ gbogbo ẹ̀ bá ń wo picture wọ aṣọ yìí ó ṣẹ̀tún bọ́ta again ni gbogbo ẹ̀ àwọn ó ṣẹ̀tún bọ́ta ni gbogbo tí Abuga ti wọ̀ ni so I thank God èmi yìí máa ń feel presence in my life I still feel it so I deal with my conscience ó ní fi jẹ́ pé gbogbo nǹkan ẹ̀ mo máa ṣe bí ẹni pé ó wà ń bẹ̀ ni because nǹkan tó jẹ́ kọ́rọ̀ èmi àti ẹ̀ lè wọ̀ ju pé ó mọ̀ pé mi náà mú nǹkan ní nǹkan mọ́ tèmi nǹkan ò ní wà lọ́wọ́ mi anybody tí nǹkan ẹ̀ bá wà lọ́wọ́ mi kó nítọ̀hún lọ sùn tó bá fún mi ní 5 naira tẹ́bí bá ń pa mí mi ní yọ wọ́n kọ̀bọ̀ ń bẹ̀ your 5 naira will be kept the way tó bá lọ gbẹ́rù sẹ́nu ọ̀nà mi tí ẹ̀rẹ́ rù ẹ̀ màá bẹ́ẹ̀ tọ́jú ẹ̀ síbẹ̀ níbi tí ẹ fẹ́ ṣíwò so legacy tó kọ́ mi fílẹ̀ legacy bàbá tó bí mi dẹ̀ fílẹ̀ nìyẹn àmú nǹkan ní nǹkan mọ́ ti wá òun ló dẹ̀ jẹ́ kọ́rọ̀ èmi àti Lukman náà wọ̀ ọkọ mi ọmọ olómi 4 àbá náà ṣe ń kí wọ́n kúrò jù ọ̀run rí ẹ o mo dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run mo dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run fún ẹ iwájú tó dojú kọ kó túbọ̀ dá kẹ́yìn ẹ náà kó dẹ̀ má bàjẹ́ o kí dẹ̀ lẹ́yìn ẹ àwọn nǹkan ẹ tó mí àti tí ò mí kó túbọ̀ bá mi ra gàbó kó dúró tì gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ẹ kí nǹkan kan má ṣe wọ́n o àdúrà tí mo ṣe ń jọ́ tó máa bu yẹ̀pẹ̀lẹ́ ẹ lórí nìyẹn nǹkan kan ò dẹ̀ ṣe wọ́n mo dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run ṣòkòtò abiyamọ ẹ kó túbọ̀ dúró kó bá mi sàn dáadáa Olúwa ó ṣe o.
Olúwa ṣe.
Ọkọ mi Àlàdé olómi 4. This is another precious gift God gifted us with in our family. Another addition. Jeremiah Àlàdé. Ọmọ Ìbàdí Àrán because màmá ẹ̀ ló máa ń pè ní Ìbàdí Àrán. Mojola Olúwa Jolly. Another precious gift. So why won't I thank God? Lẹ́yìn ikú ẹ̀ àdín sí ṣe la tún lé. Àlékún wà àlékún gbogbo nǹkan tó filẹ̀ I made sure nothing happened to anything. Gbogbo ẹ̀ lÓlúwa bá mi dì mú. It's not by my but by God. Olúwa ṣe. Jeremiah say hi. Jerry Konko. Say hi. Yeah. Hi. Hi.
That's nice.